Blog Talk Radio.
Now let's set the record straight. There's no argument over the choice between peace and war, but there's only one guaranteed way you can have peace, and you can have it in the next second: surrender. Admittedly, there's a risk in any course we follow other than this, but every lesson of history tells us that the greater risk lies in appeasement, and this is the specter our well-meaning liberal friends refuse to face, that their policy of accommodation is appeasement. And it gives no choice between peace and war, only between fight or surrender. If we continue to accommodate, continue to back and retreat, eventually we have to face the final demand, the ultimatum. And what then? When Nikita Khrushchev has told his people he knows what our answer will be. He has told them that we're retreating under the pressure of the Cold War, and someday, when the time comes to deliver the final ultimatum, our surrender will be voluntary, because by that time, we will have been weakened from within spiritually, morally, and economically. He believes this because from our side he's heard voices pleading for peace at any price, or better read than death, or as one commentator put it, he'd rather live on his knees than die on his feet. And therein lies the road to war, because those voices don't speak for the rest of us. You and I know and do not believe that life is so dear and peace so sweet as to be purchased at the price of chains and slavery. If nothing in life is worth dying for, when did this begin? Just in the face of this enemy? Or should Moses have told the children of Israel to live in slavery under the Pharaohs? Should Christ have refused the cross? Should the patriots at Concord Bridge have thrown down their guns and refused to fire the shot heard round the world? The martyrs of history were not fools, and our honored dead who gave their lives to stop the advance of the Nazis didn't die in vain. Where then is the road to peace? Well, it's a simple answer after all. You and I have the courage to say to our enemies, there is a price we will not pay, there is a point beyond which they must not advance. Winston Churchill said the destiny of man is not measured by material computations. When great forces are on the move in the world, we learn we're spirits, not animals. And he said there's something going on in time and space and beyond time and space, which, whether we like it or not, spells duty. You and I have a rendezvous with destiny. We'll preserve for our children this, the last best hope of man on earth, or we'll sentence them to take the last step into 1,000 years of darkness.
All right, everybody, I want to bring on my guest. Person number one, if my guest is on here, for some reason they're saying that I'm going to be short on time tonight. I don't know why, so I'll have to fix that somehow. But if my guest here that wants to talk about the prison story can come on here and press the number one, I'd appreciate it. If not, I'm going to have to fix this. There we go. Okay, I want to welcome you to the podcast. For some reason, they're saying I'm short on time here tonight. I don't know why, so I want to bring you on right away and just talk about, you said you want to get your story out there, so I'm going to unmute you to introduce yourself and try to tell your story within like 10-minute period slot, and then we'll go from there. How's that sound?
Sounds great. Hi, good afternoon. My name is Mary, and my husband is currently incarcerated in a California state prison. He's been incarcerated for 20 years. He recently went to the Board of Parole hearings as a youth offender because he did commit his offense before he was 25 years of age. He was denied, and it was all on it was different factors, but I think they focused so much on his past crime. They did not give him an opportunity to focus on the present time, who he is today, to present, his progress. They focused so much on his crime, which involved police officers, that they, took the time to focus on that and made a decision to deny him for 5 years. And,
okay. All right. So what's okay? Go ahead. I'm sorry.
I was going to say not only that.
I'm sorry. I didn't mean to interrupt you. I'm sorry. I thought you were winding it down there. But go ahead, finish your story, and then tell us how, if anyone can get involved, or what they can do, or what you're doing to correct this, and to where we can fight for this your story, and maybe some other people can get involved here out in California, especially.
Yeah. There's definitely things that could be done. I mean, right now I'm in the current process. He does have a time frame of 120 days before the decision is final. I have a petition, as you saw, going out there for them to conduct a full review of the decision and possibly, give him another opportunity to go back to board. he also contracted the COVID virus while in prison. Right now, he's currently housed at the gym on quarantine. So, there is that. There's, people can just advocate and just, try to see how they could help. It all boils down, I guess, to, the support he received as far as, the board making the determination that that decision was not, was incorrect and that something else could be done. So, there's still that possibility.
Well, okay, so how can they contact the board? Do you have the address? How can they write to the board or look up your story or contact you on social media? Can you give some of the people out there some of that information?
Yes, they could definitely find me under Mary Moreno on Facebook. And that's
okay.
M-A-R-Y.
And there's a group there. Yep, and there's a group there also that you're a part of there that discusses prisoner rights. That's how you and I came in contact. But tell everyone there how they can message you and and anybody can do anything. Anyone can call the parole board. They can call the prison. They can call the state of California, the governor. They do anything to, and they can learn more about this story too. So tell them that, okay?
Yes. I would definitely like to mention that, there are so many barriers to CDCR and the Board of Parole releasing our men and women from, incarceration. So I do recommend that, folks look into this, like all the barriers that are put together just, to keep them inside, because there is no real recognition. All their technicalities and everything that they talk about, they don't really focus on the actual human being. They dehumanize our folks by, focusing on their crime and not looking at them as people. And, this is causing family separation. That's why we have so many, young children out here without father figures or mother figures that are struggling and, going through things because they don't have that male role model or that, motherly figure, to guide them. And that is my biggest, issue that I'm struggling with right now.
No, I understand that. So what are you struggling with concerning that issue? Like, what's your biggest struggles or your concerns that you see?
With getting folks to get involved and get informed of what this system really looks like and seeing what they can do to, just participate and make change to this injustice system, because it's not really a justice system. It's an injustice system that's not looking out for us, but on the contrary, is just keeping us, oppressed. And that's what I'm talking about.
Yeah, and the prison, how long has he been incarcerated now?
20 years.
20 years. So 20 years. Imagine, 20 years ago, where were you, everybody? 20 years ago. Where were you 20 years? Well, we know September 11th, they were talking about the towers being shot down 19 years ago. So imagine a year before that, year 2000, 20 years ago, where you were, what you were doing in your life. Imagine all that time that has surpassed. I mean,
exactly.
surely this individual could have changed and done something, during that time period to make himself a better person. But the problem is in the prison system, though, they're just there's no programs. There's nothing there to help the people. Tell me, was there any programs available to him at all during these years for him to help himself?
Well, there was programs. Unfortunately, this wasn't until his 15th year of incarceration, because he was, for almost 15 years, he was in a level 4 prison, which was Folsom State Prison. And there is no programs there. Yeah, there's not a lot of programs there available for lifers, such as himself.
Okay.
And so when he went down to a lower level prison, that's when he started programming and getting involved, because that's when the opportunity, came by. And, and the commissioners at the Board of Parole hearing tried to say that he did not have, enough progress or enough time as programming. And, he did everything he possibly could within that time frame, because that's the only time he was offered all those programs. He even completed a paralegal certificate in that time,
Wow.
So it's just the expectations are so, they're not reasonable. You know, like I said, they don't look at the human aspect of things. They just, you know, they have something in paper that they follow, you know, and it's just ridiculous that they cannot see things, you know, and see people for who they truly are.
Yeah. You're absolutely correct, because like I said, 20 years now. So he was sentenced to, now what was his exact sentence? What did the judge say? And what was he charged with? And what did he get convicted of? Or what had happened here? What was his exact sentence?
It was 25 to life.
25, okay.
25 to life.
All right, so with 25 to life, you know, 25 to life, they say 25 to life. What's that exactly mean? Well, he's eligible for parole then after 20, correct, in California, right?
Yes, because of
okay, and then he goes in front of the parole board. He goes in front of the parole board, and they say, you know, hey, do you feel rehabilitated? And they ask all the stupid questions that are programmed for them to say. And then, you know, if he and really, they already made the decision up in their minds, and it's already basically already down on paper. So basically, it's just a waste of time. You know, this parole board. This parole board, is it the Commissioner of Corrections in California that people need to contact? Is it the governor or the parole board itself?
I think it's the parole board and the governor himself. I think those are the two entities that could make some changes to what is going on, because, otherwise, you know, things are going to continue in the same manner.
Now, he took this to trial. Let me interrupt you there. He took this to trial, and obviously 20 years ago, or when he was arrested, probably way before that. How long did he stand on pretrial? I mean, how long did he go through the county jail system?
3 years.
3 years. 3 years. My goodness.
Yeah.
Wow.
3 years before he was sentenced.
I know, it's crazy.
His original sentence actually was 125 years to life. That was his original sentence. Yes, because of all the.
So that got modified, right?
Yeah, it got modified through him petitioning and through several habeas that he submitted to the courts, and he was able to get it down to 25 to life.
Okay. All right. Now, I remember you said you had some other people, because I gave you short notice here tonight. So I don't know what's going on with the program schedule here tonight, what had happened with programmed it wrong, actually. I think I programmed the show too so it didn't last that long. Are you available tomorrow evening to come back on? I have a larger audience, actually, on Sundays. But what I would do is I would do it. But, you see, you're in California. That could be a problem because you're 3 hours behind me. I'd like you to come back. What day? Sundays are a very popular day for me, and Thursdays. Would Thursday work better? Maybe like 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, or 9 p.m. Well, no, we don't want to do 9 because it's too late on the East Coast. 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I'd like to do another show with you on Thursday where we can invite some more. I could invite some prison advocates out here and some pastors and some lawyers maybe, and then you could maybe go into a little more detail about your case and talk about it more in depth. When would you be available for that?
If you could do all that by tomorrow, I mean, I'm more than willing. Thursdays is not really a good day for me, but if you could do it on a Sunday, that would work great.
All right. What I'm going to do is I'll message you. If we get cut off, I'll message you on social media. I think I can click over here and go into another part of the show here. But what had happened was I think when I programmed it, I wasn't sure if I made contact with you, so I didn't program the whole show. But I think they might be able to allow me to extend it here. If they don't, because I got some callers on the phone line, we'll see what happens. I haven't screened them. So what I'll do is private caller, go ahead. Private caller, you want to come on? Go ahead.
Hey, Joe, it's Mike from the chat room. Have a friend of mine doing about 6 more months. He's got a year for a nonviolent drug offense. And the prison came down with COVID. A lot of the guys are sick in there. And
good Lord.
Yeah, wanted your opinion on some of these people. Some advocates say they should be let out because, they're what they did wasn't that bad. And all the sick people in there, now they're exposed to that.
I already answered that for you. I say let them out. Let them out, brother. Let them out. Let them out. Why should they be in there anyway? You know what I mean? I mean, unless they did something really horrific that even you and I can agree on, I say let them out, you know?
Okay. I knew you'd have an opinion one way or the other, and I agree with you. And being that we've both kind of been in there, and we know that you should not put somebody in there unless they really need to be in there. So I agree with you on that. This gal that you had on, this Mary Marini.
Can I ask you this question? Hang on. Can I ask you this question, partner? Obviously, they allow us to go over. You said really be in there. Now, obviously, some people do commit a crime, and I still got my caller on the phone line here. We might get cut off. If that happens, then we'll probably carry on tomorrow. But we got some people in there that, just really transgress against society, hurt innocent people. Obviously, both of you that are on the phone line right now are not saying that nobody should go to jail. We do have bad people out there in society that need to be, boxed away for a while. But they should be rehabilitated, right? I mean, they should be given opportunities to help themselves and correct themselves. And we're so smart today. We have such a society that's so transgressed up into a higher tier where we're so fast and quick and smart that surely we could figure out ways to rehabilitate people, right? So you're not saying, because I got some emails right now that are saying, well, these people, of course you say that because they're in prison and you just want them to get out because you're a family member or a friend. What do you say to those people? What do you think about what I just said?
If they have good supervision, you got a parole officer that's always on your ass, and you're going to AA or NA or family counseling. If you come out on parole and it's well supervised, with somebody that is nonviolent, it's not a big deal. But like I said, if they're in there for, cutting throats, you don't let those type of people out. But I do agree with you on that point. Just wanted to comment that gal Mary Moreno that was on a few minutes ago. First of all, her guy has been inside 20 years. Oh my God,
I know. That's a long time. Hang on. I just lost you there. Hang on. Why? She's still on here, right, Miss Marino? Hang on. There you go. I disconnected you by accident. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah. Hello. You can hear me?
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay. Yeah, I can hear you.
That's crazy that she's been, staying with him for 20 years, and that's being pretty loyal. Because, don't take offense, but she sounds pretty hot, so I'm surprised, there's not guys sitting on me.
All right, guys. I knew I was going to get to that there, but the loyalty question there, you've been with him for 20 years. That's great. And that shows that you have good moral character and you're a good person, and that what you're saying is true, and people should buy into what you're saying. Because a lot of people today, for goodness sake, you can invite 11 people to Burger King for coffee in the morning, and they wouldn't, they were free coffee, and they wouldn't even show up for a cause. And here you are, you're fighting for someone that's locked up in a prison, in a penitentiary, Folsom Prison. Is he still in Folsom Prison right now?
No, he was already transferred. He actually was transferred twice after that because he dropped enough points to go to a lower level prison.
Okay. So yeah, because they go on levels. I know. See, in the state of Connecticut, where I was at, and I told you that I worked for the government and everything and whatnot. But where I was at, that they had a classification system there where it was 1 through 5, and if you had like 10 years and up, you'd be a level 4. If you were a level 4 and you got into a fight and beat somebody up or stabbed somebody or got in violence or did something crazy, then you would go to a level 5 and you'd go to a supermax, which was northern prison. And then you're locked down in ASAG, administrative segregation, for 23 hours a day, basically 7 days a week, so it's really rough. You get 3 showers a week. It's real bad. The conditions are horrible. People really lose their minds, and it's just terrible. But, when they box these inmates up, men, full-grown men, and they're poking at you and antagonizing you and cram you into these little confined conditions, what are you going to do? There's no programs. There's no type of work ethic. There's no type of, hey, do you want a job? Do you want to learn something so when you get out one day you can provide for your family? There's nothing. It's just everybody's there because they've lived a messed up life or made mistakes or got caught up in a system that screwed them over. And they're thrown into this big pool, this shark net cage, and everybody's forced to mingle with each other. And what do you think's going to happen? You just get a bad situation. Back to your story, Ms. Moreno. We talked about contacting the parole board. Now, you obviously the last caller there said that you're supporting him and supporting your through a 20-year period now. So obviously you have a good support system lined up for him if he's to be released on parole and whatnot, correct?
That is correct, yes. And actually,
okay, so he has a job line. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Actually, when he went to board, they actually praised him for all the plans that he had, and for the great progress that he had made. And despite that, it was just like if it was all overlooked. Like, yeah, we understand.
Did they give a reason?
They did.
Did they give a reason for denial? Yeah.
They did. One of the main, there's a lot of factors that played out, but I think that the main factor was that he was recently in 2017 given a write-up, and it was for failure to obey, because at that time he was at Ironwood State Prison, which at the time was like 110 degrees, and he refused to get down on the ground when they called man down. And
okay, I got you.
Yeah, and he did squat, but he did not fully get flat on the concrete, and for that he received a write-up.
For people out there who don't understand what she's talking about, she says man down. What happens is if they call a code, or if there's a fight, or if there's some sort of disturbance in the recreational yard or in a cell block, what they do is they yell man down, and they got their guns drawn, and if you don't get down, you're going to get shot or written up. So that's what she's saying. And written up means you lose your yard privileges or any type of privileges that they give you. So it's insane. It's an insane policy, and it's crazy. But okay, so 2017 he was written up for that, an infraction, and that's one of the reasons why they said that because he couldn't be back in society, because he may not obey the rules of society. Then, right? That's what they were saying.
Right. Yes, that's exactly what they're saying, and then they're also saying that they find that his disassociation in prison with gang members or gang activity is not enough.
I love that one. I love that one, actually. They throw you in a prison system with all different neighborhoods all around the state, all around the country, actually. And some of these people actually are gang members, and they want you to associate with them. And and if you don't, you're disassociating. That's terrible. That's terrible.
That is doing that if you don't, because then if they see you with them, anybody could write a confidential, which they did in his case. A CO could say, we saw him with such and such, which means that he's still associating with gang members or whatever. And you could have just shaken their hand and had a friendly conversation with them, but therefore they consider you that you're still associated with, gangs and gang activity.
Ms. Marino, trust me, I know all too well about that. Trust me. I'll tell you about a copy of my book. I'll send you a free copy, actually, if you want. We'll talk off the air, but on social media. But I want to line up tomorrow night's program because obviously I'm unable to get the majority of my listeners in here tonight for the program scheduling reasons. So what I would like to do is go ahead and have you come back tomorrow night, 7 o'clock time. That would be 4 o'clock your time in California. Can you bring a couple, maybe a couple of your, obviously you go to the prison and you meet prison mothers, wives, husbands, whatnot, whatever it may be. People that you know that are in prison. Bring them to the podcast tomorrow night and let them share their stories about how they are disgusted with the prison system and why things need to change.
Okay, great. That sounds like a plan. I will definitely do it.
Yeah, and let's do that. And what I'll do is I'll bring a few of my people on too. And what we'll do is tomorrow night's a very good night there where I can bring a lot more people on. Now we'll get some more different opinions on here, but opinions are good because we can all learn from each other's opinions and come to one factual conclusion. But again, before I get ready to wrap up the podcast here, just give your information out one more time and what the story really is the best way you can. As much time as you need to take. Go ahead.
Well, my contact information, you said?
Yeah, sure. Your contact information and what the story is actually about that we'll be talking about tonight, that we talked about tonight and tomorrow night.
Okay. Well, you could always contact me through Facebook. That would be the best contact. Just message me. You could private message me at Mary Moreno. That's Mary Moreno, Morneo. and it's just to support my husband, who has been incarcerated for 20 years and was denied by the Board of Parole hearings. Although he has done everything that is expected of him, but it's all formality. He's not he's not been given the opportunity he deserves to come back to the to society and reintegrate. And any support would help. And this is just one of the many stories of the men and women that are serving an unjust sentence and not being treated as human beings and given that opportunity that they deserve and they have earned.
Wow, that was great what you just said right there. I couldn't have said it better, actually, because I was thinking, what can I say to, bring it up a little bit more? You're absolutely correct. The men and women out there that are confined, that are locked away, that deserve the opportunity to freedom because they've worked so hard and they've been confined. And people don't understand being confined behind these walls in the prisons around the country. They don't understand that this is not no joyride. You're not getting free cable TV. You're not getting steaks. You're not getting hamburgers. Your freedom is taken away. And I always use this scenario. I always say this. If you want to know what it's like to be inside a prison, inside of a prison cell or cell block, I want you to go lock yourself in your bathroom, okay?
Right.
And I want you to sit down on the toilet or the bathtub, and I want you to look around at the walls, and I want you to imagine being stuck in there for 1 hour. 1 hour. You can't get out. Then I want you to look around after that 1 hour, and I want you to imagine being in there all day, okay? And then after that day is over, I want you to imagine sleeping in there. And then sleeping in there, and then imagine spending days and days and months and years in that bathroom. That's what it's like being locked up inside a concrete box inside the American prison system. Now, I understand that people are going to give the argument. They're going to say, because I get this all the time, that prisons around the world, America's got some nice prisons, it's good, easy to listen. Anyone who takes away any man or woman's liberty or freedom, when you lose that and it's taken away forcibly and you're confined, it doesn't matter how they do it. It sucks. It's terrible.
Right.
It's a bad feeling, bad, and a lot of people don't get that and they don't understand that. And tomorrow night we'll try to bring that reality to everybody, and I'll bring some more people on here that can discuss the problem with the prison system, and we'll try to analyze it more in depth. Okay. So tomorrow night, understanding the times in which we live today. I want to thank you so much for contacting me on Facebook, actually, and we're going to fight for the prisoners out there in California, especially your husband there that's locked away. And I believe that there is legal issues here also that he may be able to challenge with his parole board hearing where he was denied the right to, like you said, reintegrate into society. And I believe there are legal issues that can be challenged because there's a liberty interest here, which creates a 14th Amendment violation. Now, I'm not saying he should challenge the system and get himself in trouble. What I'm saying is that you can tap dance around it, and they can understand that maybe he knows or he's got people out there fighting for him that maybe next year or within 6 months they can give him another review. When's his next review that they're saying?
Not until 5 years. Yes.
5 years. Okay. And is that a policy? Is that policy? Is that policy?
That is policy, yes.
Okay. Well, policy can be overridden, trust me. Policy can be overridden. So we're going to try to get him out of there before the 5-year period, trust me. If I got to call the freaking prison live on this podcast. So you tell him. When's the next time you're going to talk to him, actually?
I don't know. He's, like I said, he's under quarantine right now at the gym. So I don't know.
Oh, Lord.
Today was supposed to actually be the 14 days, but I haven't heard from him, so I don't know when's the next time I will get to talk to him.
Isn't that, it's just, you feel, don't you feel helpless? It's like, you're waiting for the call, and he's in there, and you're afraid, and you're scared of the situation. You waited all these years for him, and you feel helpless. Your hands are tied. Isn't that a shame? We shouldn't have to live like that in America.
I cannot even get into that because I wouldn't be able to get through that conversation. Because if I could just explain to you that feeling that it has caused, not only to me, to our family in general. We are constantly at edge. The stress that this has caused on our family, our children, it's people cannot understand and relate to that. But it's unfortunate because I ask people, the people that say and think, okay, lock them up and throw away the key. What if that were your loved one? I know we've all made
Yep.
mistakes. Nobody is free from sin and mistakes. What if that was your loved one? You know, don't wish
That's
anything on anybody that you wouldn't want for yourself. You know, we have children, and, you know, just to, sorry to get off topic, but, you know, our youngest, the day that he found out about his denial, you know, after he processed it, he came to me and, you know, he raised his hands up in the air and let him go. And then he said, Mom, you know, so much for my male role model coming home. You know, just imagine what that as a mother.
I know
that's
I know. I believe me. I know. Trust me.
So that is the kind of people
it's a hard story.
Kind
it's
of
hard.
Things,
I know.
Yes, and that's the kind of things that I would like people to be able to see and understand, that these folks are human beings with families. And yes, they served their time. You know, they committed a crime. They served their time. They paid their debt to society. Let them go. Let them go. Because if we are focused on rehabilitation, that is the way it's supposed to work. But no, this country is focused on punishment. And that's all they want to do, punish the person. And if not being able to raise your children is not punishment enough, you know, losing that opportunity all those years is not enough, then what is?
I think you just made a key point right there, where he saw his children grow up and, let me rephrase that. He did not see his children grow up. He was behind the walls, and his family has changed. And you're right. That's punishment right there when you don't see your family for that long period of time, and your friends. And just think, the friends come and go. How many associates he must have had 20 years ago that are no longer there? You know, people don't realize that. They don't understand that. So, but we'll try to bring that tomorrow night, because they're going to cut me off here any second. So I want to thank you so much for coming on tonight. And tomorrow night, everyone, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, we're going to address the prison reformation here that we're trying to do. And I'm going to try to get not just another number on. It's an inmate program across the country that's been building, where they're trying to do independent committees out there that are addressing these issues, where inmates really need to be released from the prison, not being housed inside the prison. It'd be more beneficial for them to be out here in society than inside. So that's something now I'm going to try to get them on. And I want to thank you so much. So I'm gonna go ahead and disconnect the show here, and it's there for. I'll send you. You got the link to the show. You can forward it to your friends, and try to contact a few of your friends and tell them to come on tomorrow night, and we'll have a longer, in-depth discussion about this, understanding the times in which we live today. Thank you so much. God bless everybody. Take care.
Will do. Thank you, Joseph. Thank you.